Many of our students who display the primary characteristics of FASD thrive in structured, organized, and predictable classroom environments. In this video, we will provide suggestions for making environmental accommodations that will not only benefit your students with FASD, but all students in your classroom. Effective teachers know the value of creating a highly structured setting, as it minimizes the demands to process and interpret new information. The first key suggestion is to ensure that your classroom is as uncluttered as possible. Having an organized, orderly classroom keeps items that may be distracting for a student out of sight and provides consistency for where materials belong. Having desks, hand-in bins, shelving, storage containers, and any other appropriate items clearly labeled provides a sense that everything has a place. Student desk placement should be another consideration in creating the structure our students depend on. We want to ensure that a student with attentional difficulties is seated in areas of the room that have the fewest distractions. Desks placed at the front of rows and away from classroom doors and heavy traffic areas work best. Many teachers prefer traditional rows as they provide a defined personal workspace and are the least distracting. They provide clear traffic patterns and can also provide seating flexibility, as it is relatively easy to move desks into pairs or larger groupings when needed. Masking tape on the floor can be used to further define the personal space for a student. In many classrooms, however, teachers prefer alternate desk arrangements and using different tables or desks for different uses. In these types of arrangements, it is very important to have specific guidelines for working and for establishing personal workspace. Whichever classroom furniture arrangement is preferred, we must be able to adapt the environment to suit the student's needs. Many students with FASD can find the noise of busy classrooms very difficult to cope with. Many teachers find it useful to have extra quiet places where students can go to work when there's too much going on around their desk area. As long as it is during a work time, students should be able to get up and move to an empty, quiet workspace if one is available. These places should be used as safe, non-distracting places to work and not for punishment. If you have access to three-walled study carrels, they work extremely well for students with attention difficulties. If extraneous noise is an issue, try some of these ideas. Collect some tennis balls and put them on the ends of chair and desk legs. Try playing some quiet, calming music during work times. Allow the use of headphones during work times. Set a specific routine for how and when to use the classroom's pencil sharpener. Close the classroom doors if hallway noise or activity is an issue. As needed, refocus the whole group on the task and the expectations for working quietly in class. Decorating classroom wall space is common in schools. Although some students with FASD can become overwhelmed by all of the visual stimulation in the classroom, teachers can help reduce this by keeping the clutter on the walls to a minimum. Organized and defined spaces for displays give a sense of structure and sameness, despite the content of the displays being regularly changed. Another important part of the physical setup of your classroom is to make use of clear visual supports, which have specific places in the classroom. Visual reminders for behavioral expectations and rules and routines can be an important part of a student learning to self-regulate their behavior. Having a specific place on the blackboard for the day's schedule is important for students who have difficulties with time concepts. Visual schedules help all students to know the shape of the day and what part of the day they are currently at. The following suggestions are some other environmental accommodations we can make to ensure a better fit for a student with FASD. Try to keep the classroom temperature at a comfortable level. Make use of natural lighting as much as possible. Allow frequent movement breaks throughout each day. You might send a student for a drink from the fountain, or do a whole class stretch or game. Provide frequent opportunities for students to clean and reorganize desks, desk space, and lockers. Try to keep your whiteboards as free of clutter as possible when presenting new information. Having a science diagram and the steps for an experiment on the board at the same time may be too overwhelming and distracting for a student with FASD. Color-coding binders and duotangs will help our students to locate these items more easily. Any accommodation that minimizes the student's cognitive load and/or provides support for an area of deficit allows students with FASD to function more independently and appropriately. Implementing some of these ideas is a positive step towards creating a classroom environment where our students will experience success.